Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ariel here today, and so today what we have for you is the prison build. I took this idea from the Sim Supply. He did kind of a prison challenge, which I was considering doing. Per his rules, though, I wouldn't actually be able to use this because I would then be required to do the free real estate cheat. If I can find his, I'm sure I'll be able to. I'll go ahead and I'll link it down below so this way you can at least see the first couple parts of it. But I did. It kind of inspired me to do this here. And so what we actually have is we actually have the prison to the left, and then we actually have a warden's quarters on the right hand side here. And so according to the rules, we must have enough cells for all of our cellmates. We must have separate workshops for every different kind of skill that you want them to do to make money. And then there must be a place for the warden to live on the same property. And so here you can see that I've actually constructed 10 different cells. And so the way that I actually have it set up and designed is that there is a cafeteria where they have to go and they have to make their own food, and then they will eat downstairs, and they'll be able to go in and out of their own cells to the cafeteria. And then also with that, what I also did was I had designed it so this way they they have to clean up after themselves. Pretty much, they have to take care of it. So this way, the warden doesn't have to do that. Why on earth should the warden be stuck having to clean up the uh, after all the prisoners all the time? And the greatest part is since we can lock doors here in The Sims 3, he was actually doing it in The Sims 4, where at the time, at the very beginning of the challenge, you could not actually lock doors. So, I you do have the ability to lock doors here in The Sims 3, which is part of the reason why I was doing it in The Sims 3. Was because then it's a bajillion times easier. And so what I also have set up upstairs is I actually have 3 areas for a workshop, and then I kind of have a little middle section for just a little bit of like skill building time and area. Oh, and you can also see that if you're wondering what that little square is in between the warden's house and the prison, that is actually solitary. So this way, in case we have a prisoner that misbehaves, we can just send them straight into solitary. And so here's where I actually started working on the warden's house a lot, because I have the flooring and the walls done for the prison itself, and I have all the walls up. So now I just decided I'm just gonna start working on the warden's house here. And so in the warden's house there is a bathroom upstairs, there is a half bath downstairs. The kitchen is downstairs along with the living room. And I figured, oh, while I'm here, I might as well just go in and put the cheap windows into the prison cells. And then I have the big old bay windows there, right there in the kitchen. So this way they can look outside and know exactly what they're missing out on. Because why? Because they're incarcerated here in prison. And I also that one room in the warden's house that has the big bay windows, that actually is going to be overlooking the prison yard. So this way they always know what the prisoners are up to. They don't even ever have to be second guessing themselves, and they can actually know what the prisoners are up to. They don't even have to leave. I mean, they can if they want to, but they're not stuck there. Making sure the warden's house has lots of light in it. And I did try to kind of make the warden's house look kind of nice. So, it's got some nice tile, it's got the nice windows, nice doors. Upstairs for the prison, I just pretty much did archways for everything because it made it a lot easier. And here I am doing the mental math because you have to have, per the Sim Supply rules, you must have one shower for every inmate. And I also have it set up so this way there is a laundry facility, so they're also stuck doing laundry for all of the Sims. So this way, it's pretty much it's self-enclosed. They have to do laundry. They have to cook for themselves. They have to keep up after themselves. Oh, and I ended up finding this really tall fence in there, but I ended up finding out it had lights on it. So that was kind of like why should they have something nice like that? So I ended up picking this really plain wall here. It's really tall, so this way it is kind of like a prison here. And there I go, shortening the roofs again. And I decided to give the prison kind of a. I kept trying to decide what I actually really wanted to do, but I kind of just wanted to give it kind of a blah look. So it's kind of going for something just kind of doesn't really catch the eye, so I just went with that dark one there. And I did end up finding that they have a pretty well looking like steel door, so that's what I ended up using for all of these cell doors downstairs. And like I said, since the warden is living next door and taking care of all this stuff, we gave the warden some really nice stuff. And there's actually enough room in the warden's quarters to actually house 2 wardens. So if you wanted to have a couple as the wardens or whatever, you could even still just have it as one warden. I decided to have this enough room for 2. So there is a small coffee table, or not a small coffee table, a small dining room table. Gave it some nice chairs. And then we end up going in here, we end up picking out a couch. Just a nice simple couch. Just one kind of designed for the home. Right, it ends up taking me forever to pick a couch. Anytime I'm doing any video, like it always seems like the couch is like the hardest thing for me to pick. Because there's only certain couches I even like. And some of them only fit a certain profile. Then there's always ones that are just too white, or they're too dark, or whatever it is. Yeah, so in here, I'm kind of playing around with all the kind of options that I do have available. So I decided to give them kind of like a comfy living chair in the living room instead. I decided to give them kind of a coffee table. And there is the half bath. It's actually behind the stairs, so this way it's kind of out of the way. It's set back a little bit, so this way, it's not totally immediate and apparent that there is a bathroom there. And of course, I had to make sure that it matched the one upstairs. And of course, because this is the warden's house, and they have lots of money, they also have a nice dishwasher, they have a nice sink. Decided to put in some cabinets here. Hang up the pot and pans, this way they actually have a place to put their pot and pans. There we go, and that's lots of cabinet space. That is an insane amount of cabinet space. Like in my house, I do actually have a lot of cabinets. I probably wouldn't be able to figure out what to do with all those cabinets, because that's a lot of cabinets. Made sure to put in the smoke detector. I'm really bad about forgetting that. So if you do download my house, make sure you check. I always try to make sure I put it in there, and I've gotten a lot better about it. But I sometimes just skip that, and I'm just like, whatever. If my Sim's house burns down, whatever. And I guess if you haven't already, if you check out my first teen mom video, probably would have been really helpful to have had a smoke detector in there, because well, spoiler alert, but you can kind of tell from the thumbnail that I chose that one of them decides to try and burn the house down. So if we actually would have had the smoke detector in there, probably wouldn't have taken so long for somebody to actually call the fire department. But Alright, so here I am just kind of picking out some decor items, kind of make the house look a little, or the warden's house make a little homey. Made sure to put the soap on the counter, put some decorations on the kitchen sinks, or by the kitchen counters, put up a medicine cabinet. Because, sorry folks, I mean, if you want to come over to the warden's house and check your appearance, there was some stuff in here. There was a lot of different decorations I wanted to actually kind of ended up putting in, but there's only so much room for everything. So then we're going to come upstairs and we're going to design the quarters here. If you notice, I keep having the save thing popped up. I actually have fixed that, so it won't actually end up happening as often. In some of the older videos I have recorded of me building houses, it is still kind of that bad. I actually originally had it set up to every half an hour because at that time I was regularly playing. It was just me, so um, and so now I actually have it set up for about every 45 minutes. So normally I can get a video out and it doesn't actually end up popping up because that does get kind of annoying. And so there I decided just to kind of pick out a different color for the shower. I usually just select the default, but I was like, you know what, this is the warden's house. I want something a little bit different. And here is where I'm putting in some of the laundry stuff because since they have a washer and dryer, the warden definitely needs a nice washer and dryer. And here we are selecting a very executive looking desk for the warden. And these, of course, they have to have a nice chair to go with it. And so you can actually see right off that desk, you can definitely get that nice perfect view down to the prison yard down there. Got a couple bookcases up there, so this way in case they want to read or whatever. And of course, they have a laptop there so they can keep track of all the inmates that they do have. I decided here I was just gonna go with the cheap shower. I thought about picking a different shower, but I was like, you know what? No, we're not gonna fight with it. And here we have 3 different washers, 3 different dryers. Gotta make sure we have soap and all the goodies like that for the washer and dryer. I'm always really good at losing all that stuff in the decor menu, so I'm kind of searching through it looking for it. That's when I usually just end up giving up and just going into the big decor menu because there is like no little like accent buttons throughout all of the different rooms, so it kind of makes it kind of hard to find exactly what you're looking for. Yeah, and here I decided I was going to change the position of the door. Originally, where that archway was actually in my original plans that I had drawn up, but I had decided through testing all my video equipment and testing all my audio equipment, I had decided, you know what, I want this going a different direction. Because this workshop is actually going to be a sculpting workshop, and then we also have the woodworking wood shop or shop over there. And I also decided upstairs we'd kind of give them a little bit of a more rec room type area. And like I said, that section in the middle, it's not actually going to bring in any money. So I thought, you know what? If it's just going to be there just to build some skills, then we'll just let them have at it. And then we do also have the painting room, so they can also do paintings and bring money in that way. Figured to get a couple of chessboards here so they can actually bring up their logic and actually make them productive members of society. And of course, the warden's got to have some soap for their washer and dryer, and you know it's one of those. They're just using the soap that comes with that comes through the big ordering package for the prison. Because why on earth should they have to pay for laundry soap here? I'm just kind of putting in some nice little accent lights. So this way, it kind of gives it that nice glowy vibe to it. And I do especially like having wall lamps because wall lamps disappear once you take down your walls, which is so convenient. I do like ceiling lamps, but I really do prefer the wall lamps. It just makes life so much easier. Because then I'm really good at clicking on the lights, and you'll notice that as you as you watch me play some of the challenges I have set up, I'm really good at clicking on them. So, and like I said, you know the warden gets all the nice stuff, so we actually have they are getting some of the cheaper lights here. Every single cell has its own set of lights. And so, and of course, because there's a big giant hole in the middle, we had to go ahead and throw in some extra lights because it wasn't going to be quite bright enough. And then we're getting some cheap lights to put in all the workshops upstairs, make sure that they have plenty of light in the showers. And it just dawned on me that I actually ended up switching lights. So you should just be able to end up flopping them if you decide that you want to have the prison here on your lot. And of course, we still have to go through and we still have to furnish all of the prison cells. And so I did end up buying the cheapest bed for them because, well, it's prison. Hello. They have the cheapest toilet. And of course, they will have everything super cheap because only the warden gets the nicest stuff. Oh, and I did make it so this way they can have a little exercise area outside. And then the extra space that is actually left out there, it's actually designed for plants. So this way they can have their own plants outside. They can grow the garden. This way the kitchen doesn't end up actually costing us any money. Because they can then grow their own vegetables, grow their own food, and then they can produce that from the they can throw that into the fridge, and so they can produce that to make actual food for the other prisoners. And of course, cheap fridge, cheap stove, cheap counters, and then I made sure to put in a couple of sinks, one on each side, so this way they can clean up after themselves. Do have the laundry baskets there, so this way they can, in case they end up changing in the room, they can end up just throwing their clothes in there. This way they always have their clothes in one central area. And of course, I have the picnic tables there, because also in the rules you must have at least one chair for every sim that you have, so they can eat in the commissary area, or not the commissary area, the cafeteria area. Alright, and that's pretty much it. So I kind of ended up doing one giant once over here, make sure I didn't forget anything. Decided to go back in, add a couple more accents. I always have such a hard time choosing some of the accent stuff. I think it's because it's not very well categorized, so they're kind of all over the place. There's some kitchen stuff here, some bath stuff there, some random stuff in the middle. And of course, the warden also has a shelf for all their laundry and soap needs. And of course, since they're the warden, they always have extra paperwork always around. And of course, they need a mirror also, so. Alright, and so then the last thing I decided to do was I decided just to add in some paver stones here, so this way the warden has a place to walk when he's deciding that he's going to go and check out the area outside. And of course, because this is a prison, they're cheap, they don't take care of the grass. And then I'm discovering a toilet made it to the outside. Apparently it was trying to escape. So, got some cheap grass here going in. Cheapen up the other side, and then that's pretty much going to end up being it. Alrighty guys, so if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to see more builds like this, and also to see more house builds, challenges, and the like. I am on Twitter, Facebook, and thesims3.com. All that information will be in the description box below. And so, with all that being said, here's your one last final look at the prison. And you guys have a wonderful day.